In the summer of 2025, the Premier League broke its own transfer record. 4 of the 5 most expensive signings came from the same league. Not Spain, not Italy, not France. Germany. Wirtz, Ekitike, Woltemade, Sesko. €380 million gone in one window. Bayern Munich's coach was asked at a press conference what made the Premier League so attractive to these players. He gave a one-word answer: money. This is not a story about bad management or corrupt owners. It is a story about a rule that protects fans and is quietly destroying German football's ability to compete. This is the audit. The 50+1 rule has been part of German professional football since 1999. It is simple. The parent club, the membership association, must hold at least 50% plus 1 vote in the professional football company. Always, no exceptions. What this means in practice is that no external investor can take control of a German football club. No sovereign wealth fund, no American hedge fund, no Gulf billionaire. The members, the fans who pay their annual membership fee, hold the majority of voting rights. If Todd Boehly wanted to buy Borussia Dortmund the way he bought Chelsea, the answer would be no, structurally impossible. If the Saudi Public Investment Fund wanted to replicate the Newcastle acquisition in Munich or Hamburg, the DFL would not permit it. The Bundesliga is, by law and by design, the one major European league that private equity cannot buy. For 25 years, German football sold this as its greatest competitive advantage: low ticket prices, fan culture, local identity, clubs for the community, not for shareholders. They were right, and they were building a trap at the same time. To understand why Germans defend this rule with such ferocity, you need to see German football stadiums. The standing section at Borussia Dortmund's Signal Iduna Park, the Yellow Wall, holds 25,000 people. It is the largest standing terrace in European football. The cheapest ticket costs €15.50.
At Manchester City's Etihad, the cheapest ticket is £40, roughly €47, and there is no standing section. At PSG, the Ultras were expelled from the club by the Qatari owners in 2010. The Virage Auteuil, the main Ultra section, was dismantled because the new ownership found them inconvenient. That cannot happen in Germany because the fans have a vote, and the fans will vote to protect themselves. The 50+1 rule created something genuinely rare in modern football: clubs that still belong to the people who watch them. Fan culture in Germany is not a marketing product. It is constitutionally embedded in the ownership structure. And that is exactly why the rule is so hard to question, because questioning it feels like betraying the fans. But the finances don't care about feelings. The 50+1 rule has exceptions, and those exceptions tell you everything. Bayer Leverkusen is wholly owned by Bayer AG, the chemical corporation. They have had continuous and significant corporate support for over 20 years, the threshold for an exception. VfL Wolfsburg is wholly owned by Volkswagen Group, same principle. And RB Leipzig is technically a 50+1 club. In practice, they have 23 voting members, most with direct ties to Red Bull. Critics call it a structural circumvention. The Federal Cartel Office agrees and is reviewing the case. Now look at the Bundesliga title winners of the last 20 years. Bayern Munich, 18 titles, an exception unto themselves, the only club that generates enough commercial revenue to compete without external investment. The only other clubs to win the title in that period? Leverkusen.
The math reveals the structural problem. Leverkusen won the Bundesliga and the German Cup as double champions in 2023-24. They were one of the most exciting club sides in European football. By the following September, 8 members of that squad had left. 5 of them moved to the Premier League. Leverkusen's sporting director said it plainly: when a domino falls in England, it will fall here. As a club, you have almost no choice but to let the player go. Bayern Munich,
34-time German champions, one of the three most famous clubs on earth, failed to sign Florian Wirtz. They failed to sign Nick Woltemade. Both moved to Liverpool. Bayern's CEO Max Eberl explained, "Certain things weren't possible during the transfer window because we want to be very financially prudent." Bayern Munich, being financially prudent, cannot compete for the players they want. Let that land for a moment. The wealthiest, most successful club in Germany, 34 titles, billion-euro revenues, Champions League regulars, cannot compete in the transfer market against mid-table Premier League clubs because the 50+1 rule, by restricting external investment across the league, capped the entire ecosystem's growth ceiling. The pressure is building. Oliver Kahn, Bayern's former goalkeeper and ex-CEO, broke from the official DFL position in a public statement in 2025. His message was direct. The league is playing too safe and has forgotten how to take risks. The question is whether we want to remain a league that creates talent and loses it, or whether we want to create the conditions for talents to stay here. He stopped short of calling for the abolition of 50+1, but the implication was unavoidable. In 2024, Porsche paid 100 million euros to acquire a minority stake in VfB Stuttgart, technically permitted because it's a minority position. Stuttgart qualified for the Champions League the following season. They won the German Cup the season after that. Their best player, Woltemade, was sold to Liverpool for 85 million euros. The lesson: even partial external investment makes a measurable difference, and the model still can't retain the players it produces.
The DFL tried a different approach. In 2023, they proposed selling a 12.5% stake in the league's media rights division to private equity for 2 billion euros. The plan would have injected capital without touching the 50+1 structure. Fan groups organized mass in-stadium protests. In multiple rounds, clubs voted the proposal down. The fans had a vote. They used it. Here is what the 50+1 story teaches us, beyond football. Every value system has a cost. The question is whether the people who hold the values are aware of what they're paying. German football chose fan ownership. It chose local identity. It chose affordable tickets and standing terraces, and the right for members to vote on major decisions. Those are genuine goods. They are real, defensible, admirable choices. But they come with a price. The price is that you cannot access sovereign wealth. You cannot compete for players who choose money. You cannot sign Florian Wirtz. The tragedy of the 50+1 rule is not that it was wrong, it's that it worked perfectly and the world it was designed for no longer exists. In 1999, the financial gap between European leagues was manageable. Television rights were distributed more evenly. The Premier League had not yet become a financial singularity. Today, the Premier League generates 4 times the broadcast revenue of the Bundesliga. The gap is not narrowing, it's accelerating. The 50+1 rule was designed to protect German football from external capital. It succeeded completely, and in succeeding, it left German football without the tools to compete in the system that external capital built around it. The rule is not killing German football. The world changed, and the rule didn't. The Bundesliga is the only major European league where private equity cannot buy a controlling stake. Its fans have the most vibrant football culture on the continent. Its ticket prices are the lowest. Its standing terraces are the largest. Its clubs are genuinely governed by the people who watch them. And in the summer of 2025, 4 of the 5 most expensive transfers in Premier League history came from German clubs because the players had no financial reason to stay.
The rule is working exactly as intended. That's what makes this an audit, not an accusation. Meeting adjourned.